Live from the Export Beer Garden studio, this is the Agenda podcast for Tuesday, the 16th of April.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
Welcome back, Lane.
Yes.
We are on the front page of the newspaper today.
Are we?
Yeah, the ACC, a disgrace, it says. ACC's rough ride.
Yep.
ACC facing a multi-million-dollar blowout and growing number of complaints over a taxi service that provides for injured people. Look, this is an initiative that we started about a year ago.
Yeah, I didn't know it'd gone so pear-shaped. I thought it was going all right. And the deal was that when you weren't commentating, you were picking up injured people and taking them home.
That's right. Well, it turns out that a lot of people haven't actually been doing it and they've just been sending in the invoices.
Who?
Oh, Paul Ford. He has the luxury of being down in Wellington, so we can't actually check what.
Let me guess. Henwood?
Yep. Henwood out west.
Hart,
yep.
Hurley.
I don't even think Lee Hart's got a car. Yep, Hurley.
Hurley had the Bay of Plenty.
I know, but this is the thing. He lives in Waihi. He doesn't live in Tauranga or anything, so
Okay,
yeah.
Well, this is news to me. That I mean, it was a contract we had to pick up these injured people and take them home, and I thought it was a great way of making money outside of sports commentary and outside of live sports events.
Well, in the current climate, you've got to diversify.
Okay, well, that's
one person said that they were left standing in the street in pain for more than 30 minutes waiting for us.
Which region?
Auckland. That was Auckland.
That's Henwood.
He told ACC the taxi service was completely unreliable and, frankly, a disgrace. So, look, we apologise for that. I think we might have to get out of the taxi game.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, how did that come through? Because I didn't see that on the talkback or the text messages. Did they text that through to 3236? Or
No, they've just gone to the mainstream media.
Oh.
This is what's happened. See, come to us. You know?
Just come direct and we would have sorted it out. I would have sent you Lee Baker. I mean, Lee Baker's been driving around in that Tesla. He is actually the only one that's been doing his share of the heavy lifting on this taxi service.
But now that he's found out everyone else is sending the invoices without actually doing it,
he's gone as well.
He's going to bin it as well. Yeah. So, very interesting to see how that one shapes up for us. The Masters finished yesterday morning. We talked about it briefly on the podcast, but it was still going when we were recording. Scotty Scheffler won it.
Yep.
It's his second one in 3 years. I think there's only 3 or 4 dudes who have ever won it more than once.
Yeah, and also only a handful of people that have been ranked number one in the world and won the Masters. And he's done it twice. I think Tiger Woods has done it twice.
John Rahm would have done it last year, surely.
Yeah, he was ranked number one in the world. Yep.
Yeah. I just think golf is such even watching that Full Swing documentary, is that the golf one? Full Swing? Whatever one that is.
Yep.
Scheffler said it afterwards. His wife was in the drop zone and he was like, I just want to go home. I don't the green jacket's cool, whatever. I don't feel that excited. I just want to go home. He said golf is such an unsatisfying profession and professional sport to be in. And watching that documentary, you can see it too because they all, they all measure themselves on, did you win the tournament? If you're not first, you're last.
Yes.
That's basically how they think of it. And the other thing is, guys go on such massive runs of form and then drop off, but can still play. Like, Rory McIlroy hasn't won a major in some ridiculous amount of years.
I mean, remember when
10 years?
Jordan Spieth came on the scene? He won everything in 2 years, and now he's struggling to make cuts.
That's right, yeah. It's such a bizarre sport in the way that teams, or players rather, can go on a run and be top of the world and then all of a sudden not again. Why is that? It's because it's such a mental game, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's a strange one, but I mean, it's the first time, mainly because I was home on sick leave. I could sit home and properly watch a Masters.
Yeah, right.
I really enjoyed it. I was frustrated though on day 2 and 3 when they basically, and I know why they do it. It's obviously Rory McIlroy's a big star.
Yep.
Jordan Spieth, all those guys are big stars.
Yep.
They're on full swing, so they follow them. They're sucking. They're like 8-9 over.
Yeah.
You're still seeing all of McIlroy's shots, and I think I saw 2 of Ryan Fox's shots in that third day, even though
he was ahead of him.
He shat the bed on that. Unfortunately, the third day, back nine looked punishing, man. So he started up that day 3 with 3 birdies. It was like, yeah, boy. Yeah. He was like 4 or 5 under, and then unfortunately just came undone. I had that, I think it was a double bogey, almost to finish his round, which was a bit disappointing, but it was good to see him. He's still up there. What did he come?
38th.
38th.
Tied for 38th. Yeah. I think he finished 26th last year. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people shat the bed. Apparently the wind was hectic out there.
The first 2 days, wind was super hectic, even more so on the second day. And there was a great shot of Tiger Woods on the 18th trying to putt, and a wind gust came through and picked up all the sand out of the bunker and was blowing it in his face. And he was crouched down like he was about to go over the top in the deserts of Iraq. And he was like crouched down, covering his face. And then when it stopped, he stood up and drained the putt.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Our boy Oberg, who the head came off his driver last week, he finished second. He had an absolute banger of a...
on debut.
On debut, yeah, at the Masters. And he even found the water, I think, but still managed to come second. So he did bloody well. He's come out of nowhere. And again, this is another one of these guys that come out of nowhere. He's probably going to win another few tournaments this year.
Yeah.
And then...
Put him on full swing, and then he'll disappear.
And then for 10 years, he doesn't win another major. And it's like, why is golf such a... I think, like I was saying before, it's such a mental thing. And I think why Scotty Scheffler ran away with it this year is because he didn't give a fuck about it.
Yeah, it's true. He had an out, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's like when you're in any sort of contract negotiations. If you've got options, you're in the box seat. And for him, the other option was, if I miss the cut, I'm going to go home and
be in the birthing suite,
be at the best for my birth of my child, which is far more important than this tournament.
Yeah.
So can I just get this tournament out of the way? And then that attitude sent him like 9 under, won by 3 strokes.
Because he wasn't thinking about anything.
Nah.
You can't get in your head if you're like, sweet, thank God, I hope I miss. I hope I hit the water. And I'm out of here. He said he was going to walk off the green if his wife gave birth to or went into labour.
Just walk off the Masters.
He was just going to walk off the Masters and go and be there for the birth of his kid. And that seems to be the kind of mentality that you have to have. You have to have something else going that lowers the stakes of your golf game.
Well, that's why Tiger Woods was so good back in the day, because he was banging.
Yeah.
He was banging hard off the course.
He's like, I don't really care how this goes out here.
Because I'm going to head straight to Hooters after this, and then I'm going to jump on a chopper, and I'm going to bang.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing down. It's like I find that a lot of people do their best work hungover as well, because they're often like, right, let's just get this done, and then I can get home and park up on the couch. Like, let's just smash this out, whatever happens. And the productivity can sometimes, more often than not it won't, but sometimes it'll go up. If you've got some sort of incentive, something else going on in your life.
Yeah.
That's not like, God, I've got to win this fucking golf tournament.
Like what seems Rory or McIlroy is going through.
Yes.
So desperate to win a major again.
Well, and they put him up on this massive pedestal, don't they? And he's the face of the sport. Basically, this whole live thing's been going on. It's been him that's been asked about everything. He's like their leader. And then, but the tournament results don't tend to reflect that. In terms of wins, he's always sort of in the mix. So then in his own mind, he must just be like, well, fuck, how long am I still one of the best golfers in the world,
Yeah.
It was like I saw an interview with Tim Morrison, and great golfer. He hadn't done a movie in like 8 years or something. It was like between Star Wars and whatever he did next. And someone was interviewing him, and they go, we're here with actor Tim Morrison. He goes, I'm just going to stop you there. How long since your last acting gig can you still call yourself an actor?
That's good. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. There was a great video of Rory McIlroy before the Masters where he, in an interview, they said, can you name the last 20 winners of the Masters? And he goes, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and just a couple he stumbled on and corrected himself, nailed it, and then, of course, and he goes, 2023, John Rahm, 24, Rory McIlroy. And they came back to bottom.
Yeah. Called his own shot. Yeah. LeBron James is a bit like that. They ask him about plays that he, from like 2014 or something. They're like, what happens next? He's like, swing the ball to this guy missed the shot, this guy gets the rebound, blah, 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 and just has this amazing sort of recall.
Yeah, well, Jordan was like that during that
that documentary.
Yeah. He knew exactly what had gone on, what move they were going to, what move they were doing. He's probably watched it over and over again. But
yeah, and I've done this with Beaver before, where I just found like a highlight from when he was playing for Bath or something, in 2012, and I was like, right, what happens after this kickoff? And he could remember it all. It's funny. It's like it would be like asking you what happened at work on Wednesday. You'd be like, oh shit, I don't know. But for some reason, some athletes have just got that instant recall.
Yeah, you talk to. Someone that complete opposite to that is Jason Hoyt. Jason Hoyt, he literally cannot remember any commentaries he's done.
No.
Literally. When we did Behind the Absolute Scenes, he did go, can you remind me what happened in that game? And I was like, It's the Cricket World Cup semi-finals. The hairy chap. And he goes, where were we? I was like, we were in a basement. He goes, oh, that's right. Was there pictures of
yes.
Justin Bieber? Yes, there was. Oh, who was doing it? I was like, you.
I do tend to find if I commentate a game, I can't remember what happened throughout the game, because I think because you're like constantly thinking throughout the thing. Like when I commentate the Warriors, I have to watch it again the next day.
You're right, actually, because I remember we commentated the Rugby World Cup final. I can't actually tell you. I wouldn't be able to tell you
the score,
or who scored, or any moments in that match apart from the Sam Cane red card. I'd have to go back and watch it again mainly because we're operating on like 2 hours sleep after the New Zealand-Australian cricket match as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Maybe because you're concentrating on other things because you're obviously calling the game.
Yeah.
You don't actually take it in.
It's like if you go to a game live, then you often have to watch it the next day to even know what happened. You know, people will talk to you about it and you're just like, I don't really understand. It's like we talked to Heath on the podcast yesterday and he was saying that he had no idea what was going on at the Warriors.
Oh, yes, he said a massive Pinot Noir.
This is the problem with the Pinot Noirs.
Because, he was saying that all of a sudden Sean Johnson had a kick in front of goals to tie the match and he had no idea why or how.
That one was a confusing one. That's because that's a rule that you don't really often see brought out for a drop goal. But in open play, if you put up a bomb and then someone cleans out the kicker, it's wherever the guy catches it or wherever it hits the ground. Yeah. But you just don't really see that with a drop goal. So it would have been like, seems so arbitrary. But he was saying without a commentator to hold his hand through it, he's just like, I had no idea.
And also, being a Pinot Noir, he wouldn't have had the confidence to ask anyone around him what was going on.
Nah, because he's got a hat on.
Yeah, because you would have exposed yourself as a Pinot Noir by going, hey, what's going on here? Yeah.
I thought, what's the loud bell noise every now and then? What does that mean?
Ning, 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 ning. Someone left their kind of alert on their phone and it's through the system.
Yeah. The Pinot Noirs, man, they're gathering way more. I feel like people are really outing themselves as casual fans by being like, "Oh, I'm into the Pinot Noirs."
Yeah,
well, I bet you. I haven't been surprised by a single person who's on board with the Pinot Noirs. Not one of them has shocked me. Tony,
well, that's a challenge then. This week before the game this Friday, I want to see you shocked to the core by someone coming out of the closet.
Yeah, I think the only one that maybe could, like, if the Mad Butcher did it, maybe. But I know he's into his wine.
So he might.
So he could. I don't know.
I don't know if he would, though, because he'd upset the faithful too much.
I was accused of losing touch in regards to the Pinot Noirs because Matt and Jerry got me on the show on Friday. And then they put a video out of it today, and someone commented and said, I was with you right up until you described the plant that was in Mike Hosking's house as a monstera. And they were like, I think that you might be one of them as well. Like, shit, I think have I lost touch because I know what a monstera plant is?
Yeah, I think you'd have, actually. You have. Yeah, and
I think the monstera is a working class plant, to be fair.
I don't know. Have you seen how much they sell for on Trade Me?
No.
Like a fully grown one? A couple of $1,000.
Are they?
Yes.
I thought you just go around your mate's place and cut a leaf off and then you're away with your own one.
Like a mature one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of time to get a full size.
So I reckon the Pinot Noirs are buying the mature ones.
Oh yeah.
But I think the faithful are actually clipping them off their mates.
Okay, right, grafting them.
Is my defence. Scheffler, Aberg, Homer. It was good to see the homie, Max Homer.
Yeah, I quite watching Max Homer. He looks like a good man. Yeah. The Homer. I saw he's done a bit with Barstool and whatnot, which is quite funny.
Hey, there was a good interview with him talking about, someone asked him, do you think golf is a sport?
Yes.
And he goes, if we carried our own clubs, maybe, but the fact that we don't, it's not really. He said that the only thing that gives him hope is when one of his friends who's an actual athlete, plays soccer or whatever, comes out and plays golf with him, and then the next day is like, I got a sore shoulder or a sore back. See, this might be a sport.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it is a sport. It is a sport. It's got you got a ball, you got a bat.
Yeah. Oh, and if you do carry your own bags, you are buggered by the end of it. So I think it's a sport as well. Anyway, look, we got sidetracked a little bit by the Pinot Noirs there, but Scheffler wins the Masters. I really enjoyed following the Masters this year.
Yeah, it's the first, like I said, the first time I've been invested in it. Foxy, we had that big punt on Foxy.
Yeah,
I see that the Still Presidente from Barstool won. Did he win 2 million or something, or 1.5 million on Scheffler? Yeah,
He won $1.5 million, so that would have meant he would have had to put $1.2 million on it.
No, he didn't. It was only like a $500,000 bet.
Is that all?
Yeah. Anyway, I wish I had that kind of money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, quick break. We'll be back to talk some footy. Rugby news of a Tuesday, Lane.
Yeah.
Jordie Barrett has signed a new contract. He's become the first current All Black to commit his services to New Zealand Rugby, Hurricanes and Taranaki through until the end of 2028, which means the year after the Rugby World Cup and the year before the next Lions tour. So, I don't know, 2028 seems like a weird time.
Yeah, what year are we? 24.
It's 24.
Okay, so it's one more Rugby World Cup cycle.
Yes.
And one more.
And then one more year. But I don't know why you would go the extra year.
Mate, he might have an out clause in it, a 1 year.
Oh, yeah, perhaps.
He might have a sabbatical. He might be contracted, but like Sam Cane and everything else.
He does have a sabbatical.
So after the World Cup, he'll probably take a year.
No, his sabbatical is after this year. So in December, he's going over to Ireland to play for Leinster.
Oh, see, that's good. That is good from the Erdon Noodle because at least it's a good time. I feel Japan, I feel like you're cashing in a little bit. It's great, bit of cultural difference, get a bit of money. Go to Ireland, though. That's going to be good fun.
Yeah, I've heard Japan's like very lonely because you're like living in some massive city.
Yeah.
You can't speak the language. It's a very like foreign country to a Kiwi.
Yeah.
And so they end up getting quite lonely. Apparently in 2000, the Barrett family moved to County Meath, where his father Kevin, Smiley Barrett, a former Hurricanes and Taranaki lock, took up an offer to play professional rugby while also managing a farm. So he's got a bit of history there, bit of memories over there in Ireland. I've got a few friends who went over to Ireland after high school on rugby, like semi-professional rugby contracts. They all loved it.
Yeah, I've got a few friends who did that as well. Just went and played club rugby, had the best time.
Yeah.
So good on him. But back in 2000, Jordie Barrett, he would have been what?
He's 27 now.
He would have been 4.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4 years old. So I don't know if he's got great memories of Athlone.
Just wants to go and see his mates back in Athlone.
Yeah, but good on him. Taking a sabbatical that's actually going to probably help him as well, I reckon. It'll help develop him as a player.
I just can't figure out the 2028 thing. Why?
Nah, neither, actually, because you'd think that...
Wouldn't you go the end of 2027? Because if you win the World Cup, surely you then can negotiate a way bigger contract with whatever Japanese team you inevitably end up at. And then you're making big bank. The only conspiracy theory, like I was saying before, is that does he want to try and extend one more and then play against the Lions? Maybe.
Are the Lions coming in 29, are they?
Yeah.
How come rugby can sort out these tours like 6 years in advance and we don't know who's touring or what dates are touring the cricket season next season?
Yeah. I think because for the Lions, isn't it every 12 years? Because every 4 years they go to somewhere else.
Oh, I guess South Africa, Australia, then here.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And so there was obviously 2017. God, was that 2017?
They're in Aussie this year.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Which would then be 4 years, 2025. Oh, look, I can't do the math. Look, I don't know why he's done 2028. It's probably a question for him. We'll ask him. Boban Marjanovic, I think, have you only just become aware of this guy in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, I know his face. He's the freaky-looking NBA player with the massive ears and the huge schnoz, eh?
Yes, so he is 7'4". He's from, I want to say Lithuania
He's
or
an Eastern European.
some sort of Eastern bloc. He looks like a goblin. He's got a weird set of ears, big nose on him.
He's the guy. He's the freak show on The Hustle.
Yes.
When they go to that underground basketball arena,
And they're like, "How old are you?" And he's like 21 or 16 or something. He's 7'4". He's like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm 16." But that's Boban. He was also cast as a bad guy in John Wick. John Wick has a fight with him.
he's a Bond villain.
Yeah,
He's got mass Bond villain vibes.
He is a Bond villain. He also, whenever you look up stats in the NBA, like field goal percentage or per minute stats, he's always at the top because he only ever plays 2 or 3 minutes. And when he comes in, he's the tallest guy on the floor by a foot, And so his like shooting percentages, his numbers look ridiculous because he only plays such a short amount of time. Well, he used to play for the Clippers, and he was a big cult hero at the Clippers as well. They loved him there. He had a best mate there called Tobias Harris, and they did a like video YouTube series called Toby and Bobby. They just went around doing dumb shit. Tobias Harris is like an African-American gentleman. Anyway, he now plays for the Rockets, but he was back in the Clippers' home stadium playing against the Clippers, and they had a promo, the Clippers did, where if an opponent misses 2 consecutive free throws, the whole crowd gets free chicken. And he missed his first free throw. Crowd starts going nuts. They're cheering, they're chanting, and Boban's like pointing to the crowd and pointing to himself. And he's going, I've got you, I've got you, I've got you, watch this. And then he just throws up another clanker, misses it, and everyone in the place gets free chicken. It was like semi-pro. It was so good. The video's up on the ACC Instagram page.
So, were they winning the game? Or were they losing? Or
yeah, they were winning by 30 points.
Oh, okay.
They were up 155 to 120 or something ridiculous.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
So, yeah, so there was nothing on the line for him except for his own stats. But he was just like, you know what? If missing these 2 free throws means that these guys get chicken, I'm doing it.
I love Boban.
I love Boban too. He's one of the best. I think he would be so worth just having on your team, just for the dick around factor.
He's such a freaky looking rooster.
Yeah, he is. He's an absolute, like, I don't know, you've got to go and have a look at him. I mean, if you haven't seen him, Victor Wembanyama's the one that everyone's making noise about this year. He's 7'4" too. He looks a little bit more...
He looks Gumby.
He looks Gumby, but he looks in proportion-ish.
Yeah.
Boban looks just, like, what nuclear plant?
He's got 7'4" ears.
Yeah.
He's got that vibe, you know what I mean? Like
He can reach the rim without jumping. He can just stand on the floor and just hold on to the basketball rim. It's like, you watch some of his highlights, it looks so stupid because he stands right underneath the hoop. They throw the ball to him, no one else can reach it, and then he just plops it in. And then he runs like a dude on stilts. It's out of control.
Get him to the breakers.
Yeah.
Imagine someone like that in the NBL.
Oh, it's worth the price of admission just to go and check this dude out. 7'4" Boban, and he'll win you free chicken as well. I just saw this one walking into the studio, by the way, Lane. Connor Mcgregor has just announced his return to the UFC. He is going to be fighting Michael Chandler.
Not Chandler Bing.
Not Chandler Bing, R.I.P. In June 29th, I think, which is not too far away. He's been off doing the whole Hollywood thing. Yeah. He's in a movie, a remake of Roadhouse, starring opposite Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, yeah.
That's where all the videos of him like chewing Cristiano Ronaldo's ear off and things like that have come from.
Oh, yes.
The press tour from that. And he hasn't fought Conor McGregor since 2021, which 3 years ago now, and that was the one where he broke his leg. Oh. And while he's sitting on the floor with his leg snapped in half, he's telling Joe Rogan that Dustin Poirier's wife's in his DMs. Your wife's in my DMs. That was that fight. So it's been a while for him to come back. There's been allegations that he's been on steroids. He applied to be removed from the drug testing pool.
From the WADA.
And his defense was he had to be on steroids to repair the broken leg.
I see.
So, yeah.
So it's a recovery thing, isn't
it?
So
it's a recovery thing. It's not the fact that he's put on about 40 kilos of muscle.
Well, the UFC take a pretty relaxed view on that. Look at Brock Lesnar.
Oh, it's ridiculous that Mark Hunt's still fighting that in the courts, and they're just basically telling him to fuck off.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is, I went in there and fought this dude Amandes on the assumption that he had no advantage over me. But turns out you knew that he was juiced to the gills and still sent me in there. But the problem is he's not a very articulate gentleman, Mark Hunt. So they can always dismiss him as a crazy.
Yeah, he does. He leaves his talking to his fists. And
I know.
feet.
The next one is Mike Tyson's going to be fighting Jake Paul very shortly.
I love the videos coming out of Mike Tyson training. Like
it's terrifying, isn't it?
It's so terrifying. And you can't tell me that Jake Paul is not watching those when you see him beating the shit out of his trainer.
Yeah.
Full Mike Tyson craziness. But I guess that's part of the strategy because Mike Tyson is 50?
54?
Yeah. And whether he's got the stamina, any 54-year-old ex-boxer could probably throw a combo together and make it look awesome. But it's whether he's got, how many rounds are they doing? Are they doing full fucking?
I don't know. I don't know the format. It'll be some bullshit, but
he's going to have to knock him the F out in the first couple of rounds, I reckon. But
But it works because we're talking about it.
I know. Oh, it looks terrifying to me. I don't see any Jake Paul videos of me going, woo.
Yeah, no, I know. Maybe when he knocked Nate Robinson out, but other than that, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I can't wait for that. When is that?
That one can't be too far away. I'd have to look that
There's
one
not
up.
many things. I can't remember a time that I paid for a boxing fight or a UFC fight.
I don't know if you have to because it's on Netflix.
Is it?
Yeah, it's going to be on Netflix Live.
Oh,
This is their
okay.
first foray into live sport.
Because I watched that.
Oh, 100%.
I will watch that because, I mean, I would love to see the guy whose fault it was that I had to go out and buy a $15 bottle of fucking Prime for my 11-year-old. I want to see that guy's head get caved in by Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He's cost me a lot of money.
They're now on the shelves for like 60 cents. They
I
can't
know.
get rid of them. Why,
I know.
What happened?
Well, they just created this demand and
Right.
this exclusivity, and they only sold it in America and the UK, and so everyone was parallel importing it, and then it was all over YouTube, and the little shits took the bait.
Yeah.
And if one kid would turn up to school with a bottle of Prime, I saw one kid selling $1 nips, so he'd tip it into the lid of the Prime, and we were selling it for $1 at the primary school. Because he got the bottle for like $15. His dad bought it back from overseas. That's how crazy it was. And now it's yesterday's news. But I still hold a grudge against Jake Paul for that because it's his fault.
That's
Logan Paul. Is it Logan Paul?
whichever. That's quite entrepreneurial from that kid.
Yeah. I
So
know.
like great promise from him. I remember we were at a vending machine in Dubai and they were selling them for like $15.
Yeah.
And you had to buy one.
Exactly.
Take it back for your kid.
Yeah. So there you go. It's his fault. That's why I want to see. What? It's in July?
July 20th.
July 20th. Okay. Not
Yep.
far away.
Yeah, not too far away at all. I watched that as well. And I know people are like, oh, it's bullshit. I don't want to watch it. Like, what if he does beat Tyson? You know, that. But the worst case scenario for Tyson's legacy. But they're like, fuck, you're going to watch it. Who cares?
Is that his legacy? I don't think he cares. I think his legacy is Hangover.
Yeah, walking the tigers around.
Yeah.
I'm all for these celebrity boxing matches. It's no different than the Fight for Life, you know?
And
You wanna-
Blacklash. Same thing.
And the Blacklash, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just dumb and fun.
Yeah.
And you might get to watch Stephen McIver get knocked out 3 consecutive times, you know?
That was so funny.
That's all it is. He's still into his boxing. Oh,
I reckon my 9-year-old daughter could knock him out.
I don't know. He was going pretty hard at the handball court the other day.
That's what I mean. Exactly. Case in point.
Yeah. All right. Quick break. We'll be back with yours, please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Quite a few for a Tuesday, Lane, of the yours, pleases. Little
yep.
voicemail function on the iHeartRadio app. You just
Love this. I love this. This has turned into my favourite segment of the Agenda podcast.
If it gets much bigger, it's pretty much going to be the Agenda podcast.
That's the ultimate, really. Is if it's getting the listeners out there, the audience to do the work for us.
Yeah, that's right.
Is pretty much is the holy grail.
That's right. That's why every radio show ever just asks you to text and call in.
Yeah.
So like, well, what if you did it all for us and we didn't have to do fuck all?
Yeah.
For the 3 hours of the day that we work. Anyway, we digress. Caller, yours, please.
Matt Heath, you absolute muppet. You've said some dumb shit in your time, but getting rid of lineouts is probably the dumbest. I don't even have time to go into how dumb it is, but what's next? Get rid of scrums, because only for the front row? Get rid of them all because, a bit dangerous when they collapse. Then you get rid of rucks, no one else going on them. Then what's what you got left? You absolute muppet.
This is in response to Heath on the podcast yesterday. I was saying we should get rid of kicks because I hate when your team loses because your goal kicker sucked or just missed one or it bounced off the post.
Yeah.
And then Heath is like, yeah, we should. He hates watching lineouts, so he's like, we should get rid of lineouts. But I was like, how would you restart if there was no lineout?
Starts to become rugby league.
He was like, oh, you just throw it in. I was like, okay, so it goes out. I go to throw it in. What do you think both of our forward packs are going to do? They're going to line up and try and fucking catch it. That's what a line out is. Oh, yeah, I don't know. You would have to do like a tap and go. And then, like this guy says, you just end up with rugby league.
Yeah. I could see where he's coming from. I mean, like a lot of people don't like scrums, but it doesn't mean you can ban them. It's just a matter of, I think they've done well this year in playing on. Because remember when the scrum used to collapse, they'd have to blow the whistle.
Yeah.
Or if it's screwed a certain amount, they had to blow the whistle. But now they're like, get rid of the ball. Let's get on with it.
Let's just go.
Let's go. Come on,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, get on with it. And the
Yeah.
players would try and milk it. So I think,
But now they know it's that you can't milk it.
yeah, then
It's
it's just play
starting
on.
to speed up a little
Yeah,
bit
and the
more.
same with the line out stuff as well. I think,
Lineouts have always been fine though.
I'm ever since they invented lifting, it's been great.
Yeah.
So, and you can create a bit more room in the lineouts with the moves.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more moves over the back of the lineout.
I think lineouts are quite cool. I quite like watching them. They go blind off the top and
Also takes a bit of skill. Like
Yeah.
those props who have to lift 100 and they're basically deadlifting 120 kg of lock.
it's like clean and press.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
Then the
pretty
core
impressive.
strength of the lock. I don't know if you like. Have you ever been lifted up and then tried to reach out to grab
Yeah.
something? It's hard.
Yeah.
And then your prop inevitably just lets go of you once you got the ball. You're falling back to earth.
So look, yeah.
But more than anything, what those things do, what scrums and lineouts do, is they change the body types. If you have a look at a rugby league team, they are all, for the most part, the same size.
they're all Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
Yeah, and they're a little bit shorter than rugby union players. But what scrums and lineouts do mean Sam Whitelock at 6'8" can play 150 odd games for the All Blacks. It means you've now got props like Ofa Tuangafasi who's out on the field. You would never see a guy that big in rugby league.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually what makes rugby union is the size and shape disparity of all these different players.
Yeah.
And so that's why we need to keep those in. I still think we need to do away with the kicks. I just don't.
How do you do away with kicks though? Oh, like conversions.
Conversions,
And
yes,
penalties.
Yes, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Not like.
Yeah, I
general
thought
play.
you mean like punting.
No, conversions and penalties. I'm just like, remember when everyone was hitting the drop goals back in the mid-2000s? The Franz Staines and the Johnny Wilkinsons and everything?
Maybe penalties. I think conversions can still stick around. I think because that's part of it, the conversion.
The conversion's the one that kills me.
Oh, really?
Well, it just happened to the Warriors on the weekend. It's like, we lost because we missed a conversion. I don't think that makes us a worse team than the other team.
Didn't play that well, though.
Didn't play. That is why we lost. But anytime you throw an offload and it hits your mate in the face, you're probably going to lose that game. Anyway, I digress. We got another one here. Caller yours, please.
G'day, lads. Just been thinking about the Warriors chants. What if you get Ruda from the Matt and Jerry show to record a few of these bangers and impregnate DJ A-Hole and actually get him to play them over the loudspeaker? Given that DJ A-Hole won't stop playing tunes, instead, get him to play some of Ruda's tunes with some of the chants that we've all been talking about on this agenda. What a dream.
Yeah, it's a good point because I think there's a point where we are going to have to dictate, aren't we? I don't think the crowd itself is going to generate these chants, these Marcelo Montoya and stuff like that. So,
and the other problem is, like you said, and me and Heath were talking about it yesterday on the podcast, he texted me and said, when the music stops, we'll get a chant going. And I text back, the music never stops.
yeah.
At the game, they don't, and I think I said this on the podcast yesterday, but it'll be like a guy's blowing his knee out. They're like,
I can't stand also when they're on defence and we get the basketball defence chant going.
Yeah.
That killed me.
Yeah.
That killed me in the week. Defence. It's like, come on, guys. That's not cool.
We're better than that.
Yeah.
I love this. This is a great idea. Instead of trying to fight against DJ A-Hole, make him work for us.
Yes.
And impregnate it with I think we're onto a winner there.
Okay, let's get in touch with Ruda.
We'll get in touch with Ruda. We've got enough songs now, I think, that we can put them together. And we have a relationship with the Warriors, so surely we can make this happen. Great. There's a great call there.
An award-winning relationship with the Warriors, apparently.
The greatest relationship with the Warriors that there's ever been. That's in-house. But another caller here. Listen to yours, please.
G'day, you absolute wounders. Just wondering if we can actually get some proper mentions for the Hurricanes. If it's the Chiefs, the Crusaders, the Highlanders, the Blues, you've been making so much noise. But at the moment, you're like, 6-0, 7-0, really strong team. Yeah. TJ Perenar's pretty good. Maybe we can just start to acknowledge that the Hurricanes are absolutely smashing it all over you.
Yeah, look, they are the real deal. They are. And if you listen to Radio Hauraki on Monday during my sports chat, I had to admit to the fact that the Hurricanes are looking like a bloody good team. Yeah. Only thing is they just have to be able to hold on to this form for another 6 weeks to take it out. And whether it's like what the Chiefs did last season, the Chiefs, I think, were 8-0, they'd beaten the Crusaders twice.
Yeah.
They were looking amazing, and they got to playoffs and they shat the bed. That's my only reservation around the Hurricanes is potentially a team like the Blues when they're on fire, or the Chiefs could knock them over when push comes to shove. But they dominated the Chiefs, and their forward pack is awesome. Their back three is awesome with Morby, Love, and Kenny Naholo, and they got Dr. Proctor and Jordie Barrett. And TJ Petinata has come in for Camroids, and he's playing the best footy he's played in a long time.
Yeah.
So they are legit. They're legit. It's just hard to admit.
Yeah, and also none of the ACC roster are from Wellington, I don't think. I think Di Henwood might have been born there.
Yeah.
And so that's why you're not getting that one-eyed.
Yeah.
But the other thing is people like to hate on the Crusaders more than they like to support their own teams.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's why the narrative has been so Crusaders focused. I think it's going to drop off over the next couple of weeks, particularly if they lose another game. Everyone's just going to put them on the back burner.
Hard road back for the Crusaders now.
Hard road.
Very hard road back. But look, okay, you heard it first.
Yep.
The Hurricanes are a good team.
Here's your
And
flowers.
this Super Rugby Pacific title is theirs to lose.
Ooh, huge call.
Yeah.
Another one here. Caller yours, please.
Hey boys, it's the bloke who listens to you in 0.8 speed here, so you sound drunk. Just on the back of the conversion conversation from yesterday, should we just make it whoever scored it kicks it? I want to leave the first 5 to kick penalties and the old drop goal here and there. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like that.
I do too.
This is like JAB rugby, where whoever scored it would just go back and try a drop goal to convert it.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of a hooker, because hookers score way too many tries.
Yes.
Asafa Amua looking to kick a sideline.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's probably a bad one to pick out, because I imagine Asafa Amua could probably slot them from the sideline.
If any hooker could,
yeah. So, but I would love to see that. I would love to see Ricky Riccatelli from the sideline after one of his thousands human centipedes from a line out.
Yeah.
Have to then tee up and go get.
That's to change everything.
Yeah.
So if you've got a human centipede going and you're about to score a try in the corner, do you have to call Damien McKenzie into the back of that thing?
Yeah.
Because he's going to have to take the kick. It would change the complexion of the game.
It's true. So the human centipede would change from being the hooker at the back to McKenzie or Brett Cameron or...
Yeah. You got to have some sort of goal kicker on the back there. This would change everything. This is a great idea. I like it. It brings a bit of entertainment in. You're going to see some weird shit. You're going to see a prop. It's going to change, like, do you run a play for Hoskins Satutu to score a try?
Yeah.
Again, probably a bad example. I feel like he could do it. But
And also it changes the entire training regime of a Super Rugby team.
every practice now,
Every practice you have to practice like
3 kicks or you can't go home.
from the sideline.
Yeah. Because one of these days you're going to score a try out wide. Looking at you, dog roll.
There'll be a couple of front rowers. They'll be talking fussy. He'll be like, nah, fuck that. I'm not doing it. And then he'll score and everyone will be like, ooh.
It would be so good because imagine if you scored to get your team to 1 point behind. And it's like, oh, they've scored, but it's fucking,
It's offer.
it's off a tongue fussy, and now he's going to try and win it. Like, that would be hilarious. That would make goal kicking, because people don't even watch goal kicks anymore. You just bugger off and get a drink if you're at the stadium, or you go on your phone if you're at home. This I would be all in on kicking if this was the go.
What would you do for penalties? Do you still have your specialist kicker?
He was saying penalties still your first 5, yeah. Because a penalty you can pick anyone.
Or if it's the person who won the penalty?
Oh yeah.
So
So it's a loose forward more often than not.
Karifi gets over the top, wins the penalty, has to kick the goal.
Yeah, or does Damien McKenzie now have to clean rucks out? Does he have to get involved in the counter rucking just on the off chance he gets a penalty? What happens when a scrum collapses? There's a penalty.
Okay, we might have opened up a can of worms.
There's a penalty against the tight head. You're like, all right, now the opposite tight head's
has to kick the goal.
Got to kick the goal. That would be brilliant. That would be brilliant. We'll bring it in for our All-Star weekend for Super Rugby.
That's right.
The North vs South game. I think we might have one or two more. One more. Caller yours, please.
G'day fellas, Kentucky Jones here. Indiana's not so well known, brother.
I get it.
Hey, I'd like to spread a bit of light on this curse of G Lane's. This curse would have been bestowed on him when his father had intercourse and conceived G Lane after having pity sex after watching his favourite team lose. It has been said to break this curse, a naked run, or a streak may you say, has to be had. G Lane, get your kid off, let's get your bits out, and get you running down that field.
Okay. Well, look, I have streaked before.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's broken the curse, though, because I actually streaked full nude at Seddon Park in Hamilton during a rain delay and skidded I did a full front dive and put grass burns all over my helmet, down the front of my. So I've done the streak.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'm doing another one's going to break the curse.
Nothing in that. Look, I'm sure he's got his like sources for where this curse came from. Nothing followed on from the last thing in that. I don't understand how the pity conception
After he watched his team lose.
created the curse, and then
Yeah.
I don't understand why the streak would therefore be the tonic for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he some sort of curse witch doctor?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I haven't
Yeah.
done a lot of research on curses.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't know. But if you're saying you've already done one,
Yeah.
it definitely hasn't stopped the curse.
I've done a couple. I've done it both on a international ground and a lot of amateur grounds,
Yes.
especially in England. So yeah, I don't know if that's broken the curse, but I feel if it is a curse, it does need to be some sort of witch doctory burning of incense and
Yeah.
sacrificing of something. Something has to be sacrificed.
An exorcism
Yeah, but
at halfway.
I'm not sure it needs. My franken beans need to be flopping about.
No, I think we could all spare ourselves a bit there.
Yeah, whether I have to sacrifice something, I don't know. Whether it's whether it's my firstborn, I don't mind. If it means I can attend a live sports event of my favourite team away, then so be it.
All we got to do is
I've got two more.
behead Ralph before the game, then we're away. That's
Mind you,
selfless.
he's getting so big now that I don't think I could overpower him.
That'll be a tough contest.
yeah, it's like,
That'll be a great curtain raiser. We've got a father versus son fight to the death here. What's at stake is a curse.
a made-up curse.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Okay, well, I don't think the streak's going to do it, but we do need to do something. Perhaps if the Chiefs play an away grand final for Super Rugby,
Yeah,
we
I'll go.
need to get you down there, and
Yeah.
we've got to figure out what it is that's going to lift the curse and see if we can do it.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that. We need to break it.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much of people yelling grim at me in public that my family can deal with. I don't mind it. It's just my kids are
Think about the
hopelessly
family.
confused. They're just like, why are people yelling at you all the time? Especially at the Warriors when I got yelled at constantly.
Yeah.
Or just under the breath as well would be at the concessions, and I'm going to go, Grim Reaper. Just walk past.
Oh, just before we go as well, I forgot to bring this up at the top of the podcast, but it's just come back to me now. I saw so Jerry did this story with Sir Richard Hadlee.
Yes.
And somebody got the footage of that and took a screenshot and saw in the background of Sir Richard Hadlee's house, he has a brass bust of his
Yes.
own head. Now, I saw this on Reddit and I scrolled down through the comments, and one of the top comments was, Mike Lane will buy this.
Well, if it was for sale, I would.
Yeah.
But that bust is quite funny. There's a good story behind that because he got Player of the Decade in the 80s. So the ICC,
The world player of the
World
yeah.
Player of the Decade, he got the 80s. And they did it quite a few years ago. And they rewarded player of from the 30s all the way up.
Yeah,
It was
right.
a big ceremony. And the prize was a bust of yourself. And it had, player of the 80s, Sir Richard Hadlee or whatever.
Yeah.
During the Christchurch earthquakes, unfortunately, his bust fell and broke. And he got in touch with certain people saying, hey, during the earthquakes, my player of the decade
Yeah.
bust broke. And you can imagine that there was a slight awkwardness from the people they approached because it was a very sad time.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people lost their lives and houses and everything. And Sir Richard was bringing up the fact that his bust was being cracked.
Yeah.
So,
To who? To ICC?
yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to make a new one.
Oh.
And they had to do a re-presentation and a re-ceremony
Oh, no.
of presenting him with his new remolded bust as a sign of, of the rebuild. And it was weird.
oh.
It was weird.
What?
It's weird. It's very Richard Hadlee.
Yeah, right.
He would often invite the Players Academy around to his house for tea and scones and then invoice for the tea and scones back to New Zealand cricket. So I could see Richard Hadlee is such a great player. He's New Zealand's best ever. But he was a very unique individual.
Yeah.
He is a very unique individual. And I feel a whole lot of Chuck Norris, Richard Hadlee memes coming on.
Right.
So I'm just going to throw it out there. Anyway, that's the story of the bust. I'd love to get my hands on that bust, but I guarantee
he's not letting go.
When he does pass away, I imagine that's going to go straight to the Papa or the New Zealand Cricket Museum in the Basin. I don't think it's going to go into the open market.
Yeah.
If it does, I'll be like a rat up a drain pipe.
I reckon it'll go to Papa along with a hefty invoice. So I reckon that's going to go. All right, that'll do us for today for a Tuesday episode of the Agenda Podcast. We'll see you tomorrow for a Wednesday episode.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.